Well, hi guys, Mark here. Welcome today to a review on the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. Royal Enfield have been kind enough to lend me this bike for about 2 weeks, so I've got to know it pretty well. So let's just take a look round, just give you my thoughts on the bike, how I found it, what sort of fuel consumption I've had out of it. Then we'll go for a little ride, then we'll have a final thoughts at the end. So this is the Interstellar Grey model, which is currently, at the making of this video, on offer £6,499 plus the on the road. You can also get the Astral colours, and then the Celestial, which is the top of the range, which comes with a touring screen, a backrest and larger seat. That comes in at £7,200 on the road. So the star of the show is the engine on this. Super smooth, really torquey. It's a fabulous engine, 5 stars all the way through, reliable. It's a parallel twin, air and oil cooled, single overhead cam with that lovely 270-degree crank, which gives it that wonderful kind of V-twin sound and feel. It's very, very smooth. It's not buzzy at higher speeds. It's really nice. It does feel more powerful than the numbers suggest. 46 horsepower at 7,250 RPM, and the torque is 52 Newton meters at 5,650 RPM. This is A2 license compatible. So the fuel tank on this, the size is 15.7 litres, and I've worked out at the pumps, personally I was getting an average of 66 miles per gallon from this. That was all different types of riding, motorway, town, the whole lot. So I think that if with gentle cruising you could get well over 70 miles per gallon out of this, no problem. The range I was getting from a full tank was 170 miles before the fuel light came on, but then there was about 4 litres still left in the tank, so you could probably quite easily push this out towards about 200 miles. So it's got a very good touring range. Now, a very nice comfortable seat there, very low as well, so nice and easy to get your feet down. I found this riding position very comfortable actually for me. I know some people do find it a little bit uncomfortable over a certain amount of time with feet forward and the you know, the weight on your lower back, but personally I rode this for about 2 hours 15 minutes with no problems at all. So I personally found it very comfortable, but I think with most bikes that I've ridden, after about 2 hours you're kind of ready to have a break anyway, aren't you, and just get off it. Just take a look at me on the bike, guys. As a reference, I'm 5'7", 170 centimetres with a 30-inch inside leg, and you can see how I fit the bike. You can compare that for yourself then. So weight on these, 241 kilos wet weight. Quite weighty, but then generally cruisers are quite heavy machines. So I didn't find it a problem pushing it around. So the weight for me was fine. Tyres, we've got a 100 section on the front with a 19-inch wheel, and a 150 section on the rear with a 16-inch wheel. These are running Seat tyres, which is an Indian manufacturer. Big shout out for the gearbox. Very, very slick, smooth and positive. A joy to use that gearbox. There's not really hardly any slop or any play in the linkage here on the forward control, so fantastic, really nice gearbox to use. I was impressed with that. We've got LED headlights on the front and LED on the rear, and standard indicator bulbs. I will put a little night riding section in for you. The lights are pretty decent on it. Upside down forks by Showa, non-adjustable up front, but they provide a very, very good quality ride, very compliant as very impressed with those. And preload adjustable Showa rear shock, again very impressed with that. It didn't crash over bumps, no sort of nasty jolts that through my spine, but on the whole the overall handling is very, very comfortable and compliant. ABS as standard these days. Nice that it comes with the tripper navigation there. Got a centre stand, which is nice for maintenance, easy to put on. We'll try that again at the end of the review. So these are pretty straightforward to service. They're not expensive to service. Service intervals are 7,500 kilometres, which equates to about 4,600 miles. I did take a passenger on the back for about an hour, and they had no problems on at all. I mean, it's not, you know, a superb long distance tourer, you know, like a Goldwing, but, you know, for sort of short 1 hour trips, no problem at all for a passenger on the back there. Okay guys, I'll just show you a test ride now, and then we'll have a final thoughts at the end. Okay, Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. Let's try this out. So nice and easy to swing a leg over because it's a really nice low seat height, 740mm. As I said, I do find this bike very comfortable. For, I think the longest I rode it for was 2 hours 15 minutes, and it was absolutely fine for me. These forward feet controls, I got used to them within less than 5 minutes. I suppose I'm quite used to riding maxi scooters, which is sort of a similar sort of feel really. But yeah, generally these controls are quite quick to sort of get used to. So we'll just run through all the controls here. We have a cable operated clutch, which is very smooth, moderately light, span adjustable, which is nice. That button there is to scroll through your trips. High and low beam, pass, indicators and horn. Over this side, span adjustable front brake lever, start and stop, and your hazard. So all nice and simple, but that's the simplicity of Royal Enfields for you. Just turn it on. Same display dash there as the Hunter. Analog around the outside speedo. You've got your fuel gauge, clock, gear position indicator. This bike's on just over 1,000 miles now, and it's running absolutely sweet as a nut. You've got all your trips as well. On your warning lights at the bottom, and it's nice that it comes with the tripper navigation as well. So start her up. You've got that lovely sounding parallel twin with that 270 crank that does sound really good with the standard exhausts. So nicely into first gear. The gearbox on this is absolutely superb. Very light on the clutch, pulling away really smoothly, so that's great. And that 648cc engine really does have lots of lovely low end torque. It's very, very smooth. Okay, so we're out on the open road on the Super Meteor. Let me just run through all the controls. So these mirrors, they're very in keeping with the bike. No vibrations at all in them. Very, very bright and clear. You can see a tiny bit of my elbows. All in all, a lovely clear view behind. Now this riding position is very comfortable so far. I've been on the bike for about 1 hour and 3/4 so far, nearly 2 hours actually. This is currently the Jurassic Coastal Road here in Dorset, and the feet forward position I got used to very, very quickly. It's super comfortable, no problems at all at the moment with any back pain. You know, you can get that sometimes with cruisers being upright with feet forward, but it's a bit like riding a maxi scooter in a way, feet forward, and I never have a problem with those. So for me, this bike so far, for nearly 2 hours of riding, is very comfortable. I will report at the end my overall thoughts, but lovely position. Do like these bars on this bike, very, very wide raked back, and a nice little angle here at the end, so it just feels just right. Same little display there as on the Hunter. Easy to read analog display, fuel gauge, clock, gears, odometer, trips, all very nice. It's nice that it comes with the tripper navigation as standard as well. So this engine, it's a wonderful unit. It's super smooth at all revs. Being the 270 crank, it sounds and feels a bit like a V-twin. It's got a lovely sort of power pulse feel that comes through the pegs, but no nasty vibrations whatsoever you can get sometimes with 180 crank parallel twins. This feels more powerful than the numbers would suggest. You know, being a 650, it's got loads of torque. You know, if I just drop it down to sort of 4th gear, wind it open, it really does pull nicely through that mid-range. No need to rev it at all really. You know, it really does suit this style of cruiser machine. I mean, we're in 5th gear now, going up quite a steep hill, and it's pulling nicely up here. All I can feel is like nice characterful power pulses coming through the pegs, but it's very, very slight indeed. You know, the engine is on the whole super smooth. So obviously, being a raked out kind of long wheelbase cruiser, the handling, as you would expect, is very, very relaxing, lazy, but that's what you buy this bike for, to ride on roads like this and just soak up all the countryside. Right, so we're just in a very, very sleepy little picturesque village now called Abbotsbury. We're just going to try out the low speed running and the fueling of the Super Meteor. Currently in 2nd gear, just purring along lovely. Back brake is excellent. Into 1st gear now. I mean, it's quite a big bike, long and quite heavy at 240 kilos, but it changes direction very easily. Into 3rd, 25 miles an hour. Fueling is impeccable, super smooth, no snatchiness, no hunting, no surging. They've absolutely nailed it with this engine. It's an absolute delight. Down to 2nd. Yeah, that's fantastic. It just runs smooth like a sewing machine. Throttle response is very mellow and soft, just what you would want from a bike like this. About 20 degrees today, and I can't feel any heat coming off the engine on my legs. But no, look at that, guys, it's just absolutely perfect at the low speed running. The Showa front forks and rear shocks are very compliant actually. I was very, very impressed with this suspension on this bike. It's very compliant over all the bumps. So there you have it, guys. Super Meteor is absolutely perfect at the low speed running. Well, hi guys, and welcome to a night riding session on the Super Meteor 650. So that is the light on low beam with the indicators on. LED rear light indicators. I'll just flick it onto high beam now. Hopefully you'll pick that up right. So that's high beam. So first of all, it's a very nice white light. It's going right across both lanes and right out to the sides of the verges as well, which is good. I'll just flick it onto high beam, and that's pretty decent. No problems with that at all. I mean, this is a very dark country road now. So that's your low beam, and that's your high beam. Low beam again, just your flasher. Back up to high beam. Yeah, that's really good. I can easily maintain sort of decent speed on a country road at night time. The dash there is it's nice and bright. It's not overly bright. It's not like dazzling me at all. I can very easily see my speed and my gears at a quick glance. Back up to high beam again. I say the GoPro won't be picking this up that well, never seems to, but it's a decent bright light. It's reaching down the road a nice distance. Back to low again. Back up to high. So there you are. Nice LED headlight on the Super Meteor 650. High beam's decent, reaching out a nice way, and low beam's fine as well. Really does stretch out across the whole of the road. and onto the Verge there. Deep hill now, very steep hill. Third gear, just winding it out a bit. Into fourth. And it really does pull well. To be honest, it feels more like 60 horsepower rather than 46. You know, it's the torque, it's all about the torque. You lower the power on these bigger engines, you get more pulling power from low revs. So we're climbing up here up a pretty steep hill, pulling really well. Fourth gear, very relaxing engine. Never feels overly sort of stressed or anything like that. Round the bends, you know, it's long wheelbase, but you can hustle it round the bends, no problem at all. But it's not meant for that, it's just built for cruising. Don't know if you can pick that up, but there's a wonderful view out over there now. Out towards Lyme Regis and Devon. Okay, right, we'll just try these brakes out a bit. Nothing behind, front and rear brakes together. Absolutely fine. Not mind-blowing, but more than adequate for this style of bike. Lots of feel, very smooth power. So I'll just show you how this accelerates through the gears. Second gear, just winding it out. There's your 40, 50, and there's your 60. So you see it's very easy to rev through. It really revs nicely through the gears. It's a very satisfying bike to kind of rev out. I mean, it doesn't have a rev counter, but I mean, just cruising at 50 at the moment, it feels like it's just trundling along at like 3,000 RPM, all very smooth. Switch gear is all very simple, easy to use. Oh, what a lovely bike to be on this road. Couldn't think of a better bike, to be honest, with a view like that. Big shout out to this gearbox. I mean, it may be out front there, forward controls, but there's no slop in it at all. It feels exceptionally positive. It's very slick, snicking up and down the gearbox. So yeah, I really do like the gearbox on this. But the whole feel of the bike, it feels really well screwed together. You know, dare I say it, it feels premium at not a premium price. Down to fourth, winding on that lovely torque through that mid-range. Glorious. So far guys, been very impressed with the Super Meteor. Comfortable riding position, feet forward, that for me, I took to it very quickly within just a few minutes. Wonderful engine that I give 5 stars to. Smooth, torquey, characterful, and feels a bit more powerful than the numbers would suggest, really. Very good suspension. You know, obviously it's just basic suspension, it's not electronic or anything like that, but it all works really well. Okay, so what's the Super Meteor like at the higher speeds on the dual carriageways and the motorways? So as you can see, very easily up to an indicated 70 miles an hour. It's quite windy today, coming from my right, and this bike is really holding its own. Very stable, nice long wheelbase. It's quite a weighty bike, so you know, it does help with the stability. Still can't feel any vibrations whatsoever. It's an incredibly smooth engine, really smooth. You know, I guess it's doing about, I'm guessing now, 4,000 RPM, something like that. But it's so relaxed at this speed. If I drop it down a gear, you know, still it's super smooth. Just that's it, full stop. It is a very, very smooth engine. So that's brilliant. You know, it's an upright position with feet forward, so you do get a bit of wind blast in the chest here, but it's very steady, nothing to worry about. So I've been on this bike now I did have a break at about the 2-hour mark just to stretch my legs a bit, but I'm coming up to 3 hours on it now. And yeah, really it's an all-day bike. You could easily go touring on this, no problem whatsoever. Just slow it down to sort of 60, that's a nice, more relaxing speed with the wind blast. If I open it up in top gear, look, pulls nicely, there's your 70, and it just carries on. Top speed on this is around about 100 miles an hour, I would say. But just cruising steady like this at 65, the engine is an absolute gem, super smooth, really good, economical, very reliable, these engines. You know, it's the same engine that's used in the Interceptor, Continental and the like, and they don't have any reliability issues as far as I know. So just take it back up to 70 again. There you go, it will just sit like this all day long. Very, very nice indeed. So there you go, guys. Super Meteor 650 is very stable, very capable at maintaining a higher speed. That's the nice thing with the 650s. They will sit at 70 or thereabouts all day long, whereas the likes of sort of like the Scram, the Himalayan, the Classic or the Hunter are sort of around about flat out at 70. So great stuff, guys. Okay, let's wrap it up here and have our final thoughts. Lovely, what a wonderful machine. So just see how it goes into neutral, easy first, and neutral, very, very easy. Just give you that lovely little sound check again on that 270 crank. Wonderful. Decent side stand, I like that. Final look at that dash there. I have GPS checked the speedo at an indicated 60. It's doing a true 57, so that's all very good. Brilliant stuff. So let's take a final walk around and talk about all the various parts. So suspension, very compliant indeed. It's a nice smooth ride, soaks up all the bumps, so no problems with the suspension. Seat I found to be decent for about 2 hours. I got used to the forward controls very quickly. The engine is just such a peach. It's super smooth, loads of torque. It sits at sort of 60-70 mile an hour so effortlessly. There's no nasty vibrations. It's economical and reliable. The build quality, looking around the bike, does look very decent. All the welds look good. The tank is exceptionally nicely done. All the controls, actually does feel like a premium sort of bike, a premium fit and finish. So just try it onto the centre stand. Got a convenient little handle here, so that's pretty easy to put on the centre stand, no problems there. And it's 241 kilos, but you know, it's not too bad to push around. So it's quite a low slung bike, so the weight's pretty low, so that's fine. So yeah, Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650, one of the better middleweight cruisers, I would say. It's nicely built, it's got a wonderful engine, sounds good, very smooth. It really is a joy to ride. If you're looking for a chilled out bike, you know, a nice relaxing ride, comfortable, looks good as well in my opinion. Definitely give one of these a try, would guys, if I were you. So please guys, give me a like, don't forget to share and subscribe to my channel, post your comments down below as always, and I'll catch you again in a week or so for another review. Anyway guys, ride safe, all the best, and bye for now.